If you go to Rolvenden in Kent, it's about 10 miles north of Rye on the south coast, you'll come across Falstaff Antiques. It's been here since 1964. It's one of those shops full of little treasures. For us, it's full of a treasure of a special kind. I'm here to meet Chris Booth, who, with his wife Marion, runs Falstaff Antiques. Chris, welcome to Morgan 100. Where's the treasure?
Okay, well, the treasure is behind the shop. The Morgans are in the museum, which is through in the back garden.
Wow. Chris, it's a great collection of cars. Can you tell me a little bit about each one?
The first one here, the grey one, is 1922 Grand Prix model. A Swiss MAG engine of 1100cc, and when I first acquired it, it was being stored in an attic in South Norwood. It would have been 1965, I think.
So one of your first cars?
Well, probably number 6, I should think.
Number 6?
This is a 1927 Aero fitted with the British Anzani engine of around about 1100cc again, and over the years, particularly through the 70s, it was perhaps the most used Morgan I had, and it was proved itself to be quite reliable, going to the Isle of Man and to Ireland a couple of times.
This one looks, dare I say it, a bit younger. No, is it?
It's 1934, it's a Super Sports with the overhead valve water-cooled matchless engine. It's the first Morgan I ever owned. This is a Super Sports Aero of 1930. It has the overhead valve 1100cc JAP engine. It's a 2-speeder, and it's probably the third Morgan I acquired in 1962 when it was being advertised in exchange for a shotgun.
Am I right in thinking this is one of the earlier F4s? This
one was built in 1935, a year after the first one. It uses the 10 horsepower Ford engine, which was available in 1935. 3-speed reverse gearbox, the same as the twins that use the same box, but a totally different chassis. It's a pressed steel Z section chassis, much the same as a current 4-wheeler Morgan.
How old is this one?
This one is 1914. It's a standard model made at the time using the 964cc JAP engine, and it's probably as basic as Morgans were at the time. Follows on very much from the original design of being as simple and light as possible. This was rather a special, built up by Jeff Harris in about 1928-29. He won a gold medal driving it at Brooklands in a 1-hour speed trial in 1929, but that's about the only competitive event that's ever been recorded for it. What's
the function of this?
It was purely to give extra clearance over the back wheel, not for the tyre itself, but for the Hartford friction damper, which was on a hoop over the back wheel.
Well, thanks a lot, Chris. Is that it?
Well, there are some more, but they're not normally on view.
Ah. More treasure.
This is a 1932 R-Type family model. Probably quite rare because there were a lot of them made at the time. They've been very popular as a family model, but very few have survived, probably only a handful.
I can't tell at a glance what engine we've got underneath that bonnet. Can we have a quick look?
Yes. It's a Jap engine, 1100cc, side valve air cooled. I would say it's one of the hottest Morgan engines, hot in as much as it gets hot. Not a particularly powerful engine, but seems to go along quite well. The first run out with it last weekend, it did overheat and come to a stop, but it went all right for the rest of the day. It did over 100 miles with it.
This looks very familiar.
This is an Aero model, 1930. The overhead valve water-cooled Jap again, 1100cc. The Aero model I think is one of the better versions, as that they can do everything a bit better than others. There's a bit more foot room, they're wider footwell down here, so you can put your feet out around the pedals, which on the Super Sports is very tight, and they're easier to get into. It's a more open cockpit.
So is that your entire collection, Chris?
Not entirely. There's some more still to be done, and there's some more projects in the workshop.
So this is the workshop.
It's where most of the things get done, yes. There's never enough space.
Well, it looks like a reasonable garage workshop to me. But what's that car?
This is a early aero, 1924, the overhead valve Blackburn engine, and the aluminium discs were a very popular option at the time. Almost everything is available, or has been available in recent years. It's just a matter of how much you want to spend.
So if I start with a radiator cap.
As much as that? Well, that's quite a good start.
That's a good start.
Yes, but they're hard to find.
Oh, I see, an original radiator cap. So Chris, this is the big project, this chassis?
Yes, this will be a fairly major thing to get finished. I've got all the parts for the engine now, and it is just a case of making the bodywork, which is I've just started to plan out, and I hope that'll get well underway this year. It's the Harold Beard record car, which he did 104 miles an hour with in 1925. It's currently, as I'm restoring it, to its 1928 form, which he did some modifications to it in 28, and they're all on the car today.
Well, Chris, it's been a fascinating visit. Thank you very much.
Right.
We look forward to seeing your #1 car again later on in the year. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much.